I will be forever the myth.
You're the king of kings, man.
There's always a pecking order. The little packers never mess with the big packers. So I'm a rooster, and he's a chicken, so to speak.
What'd you think about Paul Dillett at the show? This was the first pro show for him, and he was such a monster, and he took fourth place.
Always, Paul. I used to hang out with Paul at the contest, and so, he'd call me to his hotel room, like right before the show, and do a couple of poses. And I've always been amazed. I mean, the guy was, I can't even put into words how thick and big this guy was.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bodybuilders over the years, really big guy, Arnold, Sergio, all these guys. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone as thick as even the current guys.
And the structure with the width, and man.
Waist, and he had these huge calves. I mean, the only thing Paul lacked was his back.
Yeah.
His shoulders were immense, giant deltoids. But the problem was he had a wide back, but he didn't have the muscle definition. See, in other words, I always use an expression in the Bible: the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. I wrote an article about Chris years ago. I pointed out how he had this tremendous lower body cast, but his kind of upper body and his arms would never really legs. I said, it's almost like, he was gifted in some areas and not in others. With Paul, he had the body, but except for some reason, he could never get his back musculature out. And to add to the problem, he didn't know how to pose it.
Yeah.
He could have done what Larry Scott, some of these other guys did, whereas he could have hidden the back. Because his arms and shoulders and chest and torso, from the front, like I said, he was unbeatable. If I were him, I would have minimized the back stuff. You know what I mean? And you have to do the mandatory back poses. He would just have to learn how to stand where he could kind of throw his lats out. We really wouldn't notice the lack of, let's say, upper back musculature. And, and the problem was the lat spread was a little bit of a problem. He had no control in that pose.
Yeah. He seemed like he was so big, he couldn't really control his body. He couldn't pose well at all.
For some reason, Paul could never do the lat spread right. And even though he had, if you really looked at his lats in person, he had wide lats.
Oh, yeah.
He did that. They stayed crunched in.
Yeah. He had no control over it. No control over his back.
So it made his back look small. And that, more than anything else, is, I think, what cost him why he, placed low. He always made the top, because of the sheer size, he'd make like the top 5 or 6, but he very rarely won because of that back. It was the back that helped.
Do you think that's why Labrada and Taylor beat him at this show?
Yeah, I think so.
Because of his back, yeah.
The back, exactly. Because Paul, Jesus, his arm was bigger than Labrada's whole body.
Oh, I know. It's so wild. Like, if you didn't know anything about bodybuilding, you saw that, you'd be like, how the hell did that guy lose,
But it scares me to think of what would happen if Paul had a back like Flex Wheeler.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He would have been absolutely and just a little bit more cut,
Yeah.
a little bit more cut than he was with a back like Wheeler. He could have won the Olympia if he could maintain that shape. He would have won it 15 times. Seriously.
He just always looked uncoordinated when he posed. Like, I couldn't imagine him doing like a 3/4 back or like kneeling poses or lunging poses. I could never see him doing that,
He couldn't master the posing.
No.
Berto Fox in that sense. And
yeah.
He did certain poses really well.
Yeah.
But when it came, like I say, to double arm, he'd go like this. He'd make him look small by bringing his elbows all the way in.
Yeah.
No idea how to pose his back either. He did great side shots and kneeling shot, but again, certain poses he just couldn't do right.
Yeah.
But Paul, it really held him back.
And then you look at someone like Arnold, who was a big guy, and he could move so gracefully and do all those twisting shots and do them perfectly, like precision perfect,
Yeah, Arnold, he held the poses right, like when he do that famous twisting back shot.
Yeah,
like
it was perfect.
All the way over, you know what I mean?
Arm was completely straight. Yeah.
Arnold's back wasn't that bad, but I mean, in that pose, you'd see those giant delts and arms, and
Yeah.
But look at his back. It was the same, principle as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So he tried to teach Bertil Fox how to pose once. It just didn't work.
Right.
For 2 hours, it didn't help. Didn't help.